You can't manifest your desired reality if you're high frequency forever. It seems as though in the spiritual community, there's a dangerous, a very toxic lie, which is the concept of being high frequency. And if we're being honest, most of these niggas don't even know what frequency is. So throughout this video, I'm going to give you what frequency is. I'm going to give you why you can't manifest if you're high frequency all the time. Specifically, what is high frequency and how you can change your frequency forever. And I say all of that to say, relax, you're gonna get some.
I hit the weed too hard.
We could have been, and we try to pretend every now and again. Don't know that one, do you, AJ?
I know it still.
Who sings it?
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know?
Because you told me.
No, bro, it's not Mario.
But you told me it was Mario.
It's
bro.
her and Bryson Tiller. You're welcome in. You're welcome in advance, my friend.
People still listen to her.
Her is amazing.
Is she actually good?
She's really good. Cool. So, as I said to you, a lot of people have this notion of being high frequency, and it's a very dangerous line in the spiritual community that is actually stunting your particular degree of how much you can change your reality. Because as I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. What is the point of making sure that you're in a high frequency if it's not putting you in your desired reality? Which ironically, being what you have determined to be high frequency isn't what's going to get you into your desired reality. What's going to get you into your desired reality is actually becoming the vibrational alignment of that particular desired reality, which is nothing more than the specific frequency that matches up with that desired reality. But for the mere fact that I'd like to debunk a bunch of spiritual dangerous beliefs that you have accepted, let's start with the first one, which is the idea that to be high frequency is really about how you feel. And being high frequency, from what people conceptualize, is feeling good. You'll see niggas posting their smoothies, walking on grass barefoot, rubbing their shea butter, rubbing their crystals, saying, oh, high frequency, high vibes. No. What I will say is, feeling good is a side effect of what it means to be high frequency. But let's lay down the wood first. You like that?
Oh, relax.
Let's lay down the foundations, and that's nothing more than the understanding of what frequency is. You have to understand that frequency is nothing more than a repeated energy signature. No, energetic signature. Emphasis on repeated. What you have to understand about frequency is that because it's a repeated energetic signature, everything within our particular reality has a frequency or a vibration. Now, in the Hermetic tradition, they call this the law of vibration. Vibration is a singular energetic point. Vibrations, when they build momentum, turn into frequencies. And the thing about frequencies is that every frequency will turn into a reality. Now, going back to my point, because frequency is a repeated energetic signature, that's what it is if we're looking at it metaphysically. But if we look at how we utilize that physically as human beings or spirits trapped in the bodies of human beings, the infinite confined in the finite, the ocean of God bottled up in a water is exactly what you are. Because of that, we have to understand how this repeated energetic signature expresses itself in us, and that comes out as our awareness. So frequency, within the conceptualization of humanity, individuals, human beings, it's awareness. Frequency isn't about feeling good, which is what people attribute it to be. Because once you play into the dangerous concept that being high frequency is feeling good, you'll want to feel good all the time, which means you'll be going against the very nature of the universe. And anytime you go against the nature of the universe, you go against the very nature of yourself. And anytime you go against the very nature of yourself, you go against the nature of God. And when you go against the nature of God, you end up suffering, which is why there's nobody I feel sorry for more than the spiritual niggas that try to be high frequency all the time. Because the truth of the matter is, you can't be high frequency all the time. You actually can't be high frequency without its energetic polarity of being low frequency. And ironically, the more that you actually attempt to be high frequency from a point of emotions is to the same equal measure that you can be taken down to what you consider low frequency. And this is very dangerous. And let me tell you why. If you determine frequency to be something that is emotion based, if you determine frequency to be something emotional, a feeling, an attitude, a state of being, what you end up doing is playing into something very dangerous, which is the mechanics of you, which is you make the laws. You make the laws of your reality. And because you make the laws of your reality, ironically, when you aren't feeling good, and let's say for whatever reason, you're feeling sad, what you're going to attribute that to be is something wrong. And because you think something's wrong when you're not in a high frequency, due to the fact that there's no truth in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. I repeat, there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. You make the own laws of your reality. When you think when you feel bad, something's wrong, you actually then end up setting in motion the vibration of everything that is embodied within that particular label of wrong, which then every vibration must turn into a frequency, and every frequency must and will eventually turn into a reality. So this concept is very, very dangerous, because you end up in these instances where life just goes on, you actually end up thinking something's wrong when you're not feeling good all the time. If you feel like you should, but you're not, you end up thinking something's wrong. And the moment that you do that, you set in motion to actually create wrong. And then things start to go left in your reality. But let me relax. I'm getting heated. Let me relax. But as I said, simple. Frequency is nothing more than an energetic signature that's been repeated, which expresses itself in our reality as our awareness. And especially when we go down into the quantum mechanics side of things, your awareness actually has the ability to affect the way that subatomic particles operate in our reality. All you have to do is begin to look at the observer effect, also known as the observer experiment, the double slit experiment, which is nothing more than the illustration of how particles or matter in of itself, which I'm going to break down right now, has the type of awareness of our awareness, and it reacts to us. But let me explain what I mean much more simply. You say you got a girl, now you want me when you got a girl. Man. Perfect. So, as I was just kind of, my mind was just exploding, down the particular concepts, specifically revolving around quantum mechanics, the nature of our universe. Remember, frequency can be interchangeable with a bunch of things. Frequency can be interchangeable with what we call the mind. It's interchangeable with what we call consciousness. Now, it is commonly said mind over matter. But what I want to illustrate to you, especially when we begin to tie this with the Hermetic law of polarity, is that mind and matter aren't separate. In fact, mind and matter are one. And let me explain what I mean. Mind and matter are the same energy. Their only difference is their rate of vibration. Now, at first glance, it might be something that's a bit difficult to conceptualize. But remember, mind is another word for consciousness, which is another way, or interchangeable with frequency, which is also interchangeable with imagination, right? Because the world that we live in is nothing more than solidified, frozen imagination. But let me explain by what I mean. So what we conceptualize as mind can be equated to steam. You can't exactly grab the mind. You can't grab the mind, you can't grab steam. But matter can be conceptualized as ice. You can touch ice, it's tangible. Steam and ice are the exact same energy. Their only difference is their rate of vibration. Mind and matter is exactly the same energy. The only difference is their rate of vibration. What we call manifestation is nothing more than the rate of vibration of mind altering itself to a degree to which then it begins to solidify and materialize in this third dimensional realm that we also call our physical plane. Our physical plane is nothing more than the physical expression of the mental plane. It is nothing more than the reflection of the mental plane. It is nothing more than the printing onto the screen of reality of the mental plane. Now, it's important for you to understand that your frequency, as I said, every frequency must become a reality. There's no escaping this. You can't escape this more than anything because you can't escape universal laws. Universal laws aren't like human laws. And this is something that you need to begin to reiterate and alter to yourself mentally, because our conception on laws are things that are, bendable for the right individual. We often hear or see cases where certain people have these particular trials and things go wrong or wrong to the public, or somebody gets off scot-free, or because, they went to dinner with a judge we were hearing before. That's a Drake lyric, by the way. I say all of that to say, that's not how universal laws work. You can't negotiate with the universe. There's no way you're falling off a building and as you're falling down, you're gonna be like to gravity, I beg you stop. Hey, can you stop? Can you stop? You're gonna hit the ground. And the same thing should be extrapolated to the other universal laws, which is exactly what we're talking about right now. Specifically in the instance where mind alters its vibration and becomes matter. That is what's known as the law of mentalism. And I have a video about this. I think it's called You Can't Manifest Until You Know the First Law of the Universe, that goes into much more detail than I have time for on this particular instance. But I say all of that to say, it's not until you begin to understand what frequency is comprised of that you actually will be in a position to alter your reality. Because the mistake that everybody makes in the world specifically is attempting to change their reality by changing their reality. But reality in of itself is an effect, and you can't change an effect by changing an effect. Frequency is the cause. But remember, when I say frequency, that's mind, consciousness, imagination. It is the cause. In order to alter the effect, you must first change the cause. This is how it goes. So our focus is going to be here. And because our frequency is our degree of awareness, it's not until that you can restructure your awareness that you will restructure your reality. Because the issue is, if you're experiencing a particular condition of reality that is unwanted, that means your awareness is placed and reflecting and resonating with a particular condition or an equivalent condition of reality that is unwanted. So you have placement on unwanted. You're aware of the things that you don't want. We actually need to make you unaware of the things you don't want and aware of the reality that you do want, which is very, very easy, luckily. Yo, AJ, I got a next anime for you to watch, bro. Have you finished Hunter x Hunter?
I've got like 4 episodes left apparently. Or 5.
Gon's got the worst dad in the world, innit?
Bro, Gon's dad. Bro, he's in the hospital. Spoiler, he's in the hospital. Absolutely knocked out cold, life support. He's like, my son doesn't need me. He's like, I'm glad you're his friend and you're down to see him. I'm just like, what?
Bro, he's got the worst dad ever. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, if you guys think you know deadbeat dads, I'm telling you. Gon Fricks' his dad. I think his name's Jin, innit? Jin.
Yeah. Or Gene.
Jin or Gene. Yeah. He's the worst dad in, and he's different levels. You gotta watch Dan the Dan, then you're gonna watch ReZero. I've really been in my anime bag again lately. I'd fallen off because I just stopped watching TV for a long period of time. Except My Wife and Kids, obviously. Everybody Hates Chris. Those type of shows just back to back. But I'm back in my anime bag. ReZero. You need to watch Solo. You need to watch Solo Leveling. You actually love Solo Leveling.
I don't know.
Now,
I don't know.
Don't worry, guys. We'll break it down. We'll get it. Now, it's important for you guys to understand, to the point that I made at the start, within the spiritual community in of itself, that concept of being high frequency all the time is actually toxic positivity. Because remember, what they conceptualize, or what you've been taught to conceptualize, and it's not your fault, right? What you've been taught to conceptualize frequency is feeling good all the time. And that's just not how reality works. Even the most spiritual monks, if you study the particular stories of these spiritual masters, they weren't people that have created literature that we read thousands of years later. Buddha, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Lao Tzu, Christ, Krishna. these particular individuals that have written literature, the Prophet Idris in the Quran, Enoch in the Bible, Hermes, Thoth, Jehuti, these individuals, or that particular individual who's just been around across many different cultures, they had their own moments where they weren't feeling good, very evidently. But spiritual niggas these days will make it seem as if any day that you don't feel good, something's wrong. But that's just not the nature of how frequencies work, because frequencies oscillate. They go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's actually the emphasis that you place on your emotional state that creates you as a yo-yo that the universe just swings back and forth, which is very dangerous. What you actually need to become is a midpoint, straight neutrality, straight in the middle. But I'll talk about that even more. But toxic positivity is the idea that you need to feel good all the time. Anytime somebody's not happy, then spiritual niggas will get away from you like you got the plague. They'll be like, negative, bad vibes, negative frequency. But that's not the case. That's not the case, because remember, frequency is awareness. And once you conceptualize frequency as awareness, then things begin to change. This concept that you need to feel good all the time is in direct opposition to the nature of reality. Because the nature of reality is that polarity, which means you can't be high frequency without being low frequency. There's highs and lows. There's forwards and backwards. The tide goes in and out. This is the nature of reality. And I keep repeating, this is the nature of reality, because what your old frequency is going to do is going to get you to step into a particular degree of perfection and make you feel like you have to be the spiritual guru monk who's never bothered by anything and never upset about anything, so that it's actually setting you up to fail. It actually sets you up for perfection, because it inherently knows that you won't be able to meet that standard. And when you don't meet that standard, you're going to be upset with yourself. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be angry. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be sad. And ironically, those are all the emotions that it's addicted to. And those are all the emotions that sticks to it and allows it to continue existing right within you. So that in of itself is a trick. Hence why I hate to see this particular phenomenon, this idea of being perfect all the time. And this is no different from the religious pretentious act, right? It's just spiritual. A lot of these spiritual niggas, they leave religion, but they have the exact same psychological programming without realizing that they've just jumped from one box to another. You can't feel good all the time because it goes against the nature of reality. Anytime you attempt to go against the nature of reality, reality will destroy you. It will quite literally destroy you. What I'm attempting to do here is to normalize and recorrect your perception on what frequency is. And I'm normalizing the fact that some days you're going to wake up upset. Some days you're going to be angry. But it's your ability to deal with those is what's going to make you high frequency. And I'll explain exactly how to do that shortly. Relax, you're going to get some. But I say all of this to say, this is toxic positivity. This is not spirituality. This is not, no. This isn't spirituality at all. And I need you to understand that, or you'll fall into this particular trap of, as I mentioned, of that particular degree of striving for perfection. You don't meet that standard. You then get upset with yourself. You actually fall back into the exact emotions of the old frequency. OF for old frequency, not only fans, you horny niggas.
I think we need to start a petition for you to watch Interstellar again.
I'm not watching really Interstellar. That was the most boring film in the world.
I can't believe you're saying this.
Interstellar is the most boring film in the world.
I thought you was a man of taste.
I'm a man of taste. Best believe that. But no, Interstellar is a terrible film, man. Maybe it's because I watched it when I was younger, but I literally fell asleep in the cinema.
When it was terrible. How old?
I don't remember, but I watched it in cinema and I fell asleep. It was terrible. Or as Americans call it, the theater. It was terrible, man. It was absolutely terrible. Out of all the things you could tell me to watch, you say Interstellar.
Bro, Interstellar is probably the
top three movies
of all time.
Have you watched Menace to Society? Paid in Full?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
No, you haven't. You haven't, have you?
Yes.
He hasn't. He told me to. He did this.
Oh my gosh, this is what you're making up lies. Come on now. Now, Paid in Full. Didn't really pay attention, to be honest.
You didn't pay attention.
Nah.
To pay them
lie about that. Everyone says it's good, but it's just another one of those gangster films.
Gangster films.
We need better for my people. We're more than just, dealers and menaces to society.
So, now that we understand that frequency, remember, frequency is what? It's not how you feel, it's a side effect. Frequency is awareness. So now let's actually reconsider what the true definition of high frequency is. For somebody to have a high frequency, then that means that they have a high level of awareness. High level of awareness for what, Nero? Relax, you're gonna get some. For somebody to have a low frequency, then that means what, AJ?
What? Wait, what?
Leave me alone.
No.
Literally leave me alone.
Bro, what?
Leave me alone. If frequency is awareness, to have a high frequency means that you have a high level of awareness. So what would it mean if you have a low frequency? That you have a low level of awareness.
Yes, of course.
So, awareness towards what specifically? Make sure you're writing this down and leaving notes in the comments as usual. Awareness for the true nature of reality. Which can be conceptualized as the mechanics of the universe, how the universe works, universal laws. Because here's the thing. And this is actually hilarious. It's actually quite unfortunate as well. But as human beings, let me go on my knees real nice. Why are you looking at me, bro?
I ain't even looking at you.
Why are you looking at me, bro? Pause. So, the unfortunate part about us being humans is that we have a limited perception. We only see 0.035% of what actually exists. And that's due to the fact that we see through a process called refraction. Refraction is when light bounces off surfaces, and specifically visible light, which is a tiny fraction of the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we see a very small fraction of reality. And because we see a small fraction of reality, that means we don't see the entirety of reality, which means that we see an illusion. Hence why in Hindu traditions, they call it the world of Maya. If you ever read the Bhagavad Gita, it speaks about this. And this illusion is just a fancy way of saying a trap. So our perception towards reality is already somewhat confined and trapped. So when somebody has a low frequency, then that means that they're simply taking this 0.035% as the entirety and truth of what actually exists. And that is what it means to be low frequency. Being low frequency isn't about feeling bad. It isn't about eating fucking burgers and eating chicken wings and all of this other shit that spiritual niggas would make you believe makes you low frequency. Being low frequency means having a low level of awareness. Awareness of the true nature and reality and the mechanics of the universe and the universal laws. Specifically around the instance where you are allowing something such as reality, which is nothing more than an illusion. Illusion is a fancy way of saying trap. Trick you into thinking that what you're seeing is exactly all that is. This is what it means to be low frequency. And guess what? When you have a low level of awareness for the true nature of reality and you're caught up in the illusion, that is when you actually begin to encounter the devil. What do you mean, Nero? Relax, you're gonna get some. What I mean by that specifically is this. If you take the concept of Christ and the devil, they actually show two particular things. They're both consciousness that fell down to this physical plane. Jesus was able to become high frequency by having a high level of awareness for the true nature of reality and the mechanics of reality. Hence why he spoke esoteric concepts such as non-duality, treat others how you want to be treated, to prioritize your internal state of consciousness over the external world. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33, and righteousness and all these things shall be added unto you. John 3:27, he's told you that you can only create reality. A man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. You can't get anything on this physical plane unless it is given to you from your state of consciousness. Jesus fell down to this physical plane and became privy and aware to the true nature of reality, the illusion. The devil represents you falling down to this third dimensional realm in the exact same way Jesus did, but the devil got caught up in the world. And even when he attempted to win Christ over, that particular degree of consciousness, when he attempted to lower the consciousness of Christ and make Christ low frequency, he said, see, look everything around you. All of this, I'll give you this. I'll give you all of this. Because the devil represents having a low level of awareness. And when you have a low level of awareness, that means you're unaware of the true nature of reality and how reality works. So guess what you end up experiencing? Struggle, misfortune, so on and so forth. And when you feel these things, you then begin to feel lower vibrational emotions. You begin to feel angry. You begin to feel sad. You begin to feel worried. You begin to feel stressed. All for the mere fact that you are unaware of how this 0.0035% is actually tricking you more than you actually think. You look like you're about to say something.
So I was just reading a comment. She goes, I'm sorry, who is AJ? It's like he's lived in a box before tapping into the existence. Why doesn't he know that That's So Raven? Anime is cool, but That's So Raven though, crazy. And he doesn't know my wife and kids. You're losing me, AJ. Why did you tell them I don't know my wife and kids?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I think they're going back to a conversation we had on what is a better show, My Wife and Kids or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I said My Wife and Kids.
Yeah, Fresh Prince is better, to be honest.
No.
I'll be honest.
Who
My Wife and Kids is good though.
She said, who's A? I remember when niggas thought you weren't real, and I was like a ventriloquist, and I was like, oh.
Imagine.
So, to be high frequency is to have a high level of awareness. To have a high level of awareness means to see clearly. I need you to understand something, guys. When I say frequency is your lens, and that's your awareness, when I say frequency is your awareness, think about it as your lens. Right now, I have lenses. So let's say that you have glasses, for example, and your glasses are smudged. You can't see clearly. This is what we call low frequency. And because you can't see clearly, you might end up walking into a wall. You might end up, I don't know, falling off a bridge. I don't know, you end up might crashing the whip, whatever it might be. Clearly, you're going to run and encounter some type of suffering on the basis that you're not seeing clearly. To be high frequency means to see clearly. And when you see clearly, I see clearly now, the rain is gone. You see clearly, you see the true nature of reality. When you see the true nature of reality, it allows you to be above these particular lower vibrational emotions as people who are in a low level of awareness, a low frequency actually experience. This is what it means to be high frequency. This is the true definition of high frequency. But as I said, when you determine frequency to be based upon how you feel, understand how you feel is a side effect of your level of awareness. Your level of awareness is ultimately what determines how you feel, because the way that your mind perceives something, perception is this. Perception will always lead to your projection of reality. What do I mean by that? The way you look at life is the way life looks at you. And until you change the way you look at things, things won't change the way they look back at you. So if you're perceiving reality through a smudged lens, then what you're going to experience is the effect, cause and effect of a smudged reality. And when you walk into that wall because you can't see clearly, you're going to be like, ow, what the fuck happened? Unaware that what you just experienced was nothing more than the effect of your ignorance for the true nature of reality. But when you're on a high frequency, this means to be privy and aware to the true nature of reality and how it works, so on and so forth. And I'll give you an example. So let's take the instance of the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect is nothing more than the idea that your reality is nothing more than the effect of your cause, which is your mind, your mental attitude, your frequency, your consciousness, your imagination, all interchangeable. A lot of people are trapped in a low frequency simply due to the fact that they're unaware of the law of cause and effect. They don't realize that reality is an effect. So for example, let's say they want to lose weight, and this is the easiest example. Let's say they want to lose weight. Because they're in a low frequency, they have a low level of awareness for the true nature of reality. They don't realize that reality is an effect. So they go to the gym. They're like, fuck it, I'm just go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna just go as hard as I can. They attempt to take the actions of being fit while mentally they're still unfit. So guess what happens when it rains? When it rains, they're like, it's raining today. I can't go to the gym when it's raining, of course. When it's 6, they'll be like, everyone just finished work right now. Right now is not the time. I'm not going to be able to do anything. They wake up, it's supposed to go gym in the morning. I don't know. And that's what happens when you attempt to take action. That's what happens when you attempt to change an effect by changing an effect. You can't change your reality by physical action. A prerequisite to physical action is mental action. So the individual with a high frequency would first enter the internal mental state, the mental attitude, the frequency, the consciousness of an individual who is actually fit, and then take the action so that they're causing an effect into motion. So when they take the action has the prerequisite of their what? Cause. So then it's easy, they're naturally compelled to go to the gym. They get joy from going to the gym. They get satisfaction from going to the gym. They're not debating themselves in their head. And extrapolate this to whatever. Extrapolate this to money. People, we all know people, we grew up with our family that worked hard as they could, working as many hours as they possibly could to try and make more money. They tried to change an effect by changing an effect. They might have even tried budgeting. They might have even tried investing. They might have even tried saving money. But at some point, something goes wrong. And it's because they're taking actions that are solely tied to the realm of effect, as opposed to first altering the cause, which is the mind, the mental attitude, the consciousness, the imagination, the frequency. And that is an example of somebody who's on a low frequency. It's not about people that are angry all the time. Niggas will be like, yo, why are you listening to rap music? That's low frequency. I'm thinking, what are you even saying? Do you even know what frequency is? Do you even know what you're saying? And that's not to say that these things don't have an effect on you. They do have an effect on you. But as I always say, God is the highest order in the universe. And once you understand that God is nothing more than the impersonal consciousness which is within you, God is where your mind is. And once you understand that, then the first law of the universe makes sense, because everything comes underneath that. Yes, these things have an effect. Yes, your food will have an effect. I'm not saying you can go out and eat Big Macs every day for a year straight and think that, you know, everything's going to be all right. But that's an entirely different topic. But you get the point that I'm making here. So, to reiterate, being high frequencies, having a high level of awareness. When you have a high level of awareness, that means you're aware of the true nature of reality. When you're aware of the true nature of reality, you don't get caught up in reality shenanigans when stuff starts to go left. For example, how often when you're trying to do all this manifestation stuff, you're watching these videos, you're reading these books, you're doing your meditations, you're doing your affirmations, whatever it may be, and shit just starts going left. It's just not working. You're like, what's going on? You're unaware of the fact that you're attempting to enter a new frequency. And in order to go somewhere you've never been, you need to become someone you've never been, which means that you need to detach from who you have been. But who you have been has now been created into an entity that wants nothing more than to keep you. Because why would your old frequency want to be left? It actually likes existing. But because you want to leave it, it will do its best to keep you in there. So it'll start to make things go left. It'll make things go wrong. It will show you some type of adversity without you realizing that this is nothing more than you attempting to break a relationship you didn't even know that you had. And that's a bar, write that down. That's another example, but I have a video on that. I think that video is called Outsmart the Old Version of You. The more that you become aware of the true nature of reality, the more high frequency you become naturally. Because when things start happening in your reality, you're not going to be in it, you're going to be stood outside of it, watching it, which is a completely different state of consciousness, as opposed to being caught up in it. Now, how do I change my frequency, Nero? Relax, you're gonna get some. It's all right, man. You're eager. It's all right. Keep it in your pants. Keep it in your pants. Your frequency is comprised of what I call the 5 levels. Now, go watch my video on 8 years of manifestation in like this is like 50 minutes or something. 51 minutes or something like that, because it'll explain in more detail. But I have to give you what your frequency is comprised of. Now, as I said, your frequency is your awareness. And because every frequency must turn into a reality. So your level of awareness is going to be outpictured into the world around you. So if you want to know what frequency you're on, simply just take a look of what's around you, because that's a feedback loop. It's beautiful because you're actually seeing the output. And when you see the output, you can reverse engineer it and say, how did I create this? Which is a question that most people will never even ask themselves to begin with. They'll actually believe in concepts such as destiny without realizing that the only destiny that you have is the contents of your mind. That's a bar, write that down. Now, as I said, frequency is comprised of 5 levels. You can alter those levels. I've made plenty of videos how but I'm just giving you it right now so you can understand. That says conviction. I know it doesn't look like it does, but I promise you it does. Anyways, the 5 levels of frequency: your beliefs, thoughts that are emotionally charged, your focus, identity, conviction. All of these, each one of these contribute to make your frequency. Bear in mind, drinking fucking green shakes isn't gonna get you into your desired reality, my guy. It's not gonna happen. What's going to get you into your desired reality is if you become vibrationally aligned to the reality that you want. Ironically, the more that you try to manifest, the more you actually struggle to manifest, because the true definition of manifestation, the way that I conceptualize it, is manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. When you're good with it and you're good without it. When you're good with it and when you're good without it. But the only way you can become good without it is if you are it internally. And the only way you can be it internally is if you begin to tick off each one of these characteristics. You make sure that your beliefs are aligned to your desired reality. You make sure that the thoughts that you experience with a particular degree of emotional charge reflect your desired reality. Your focus is aligned and reflects your desired reality. Your identity reflects and mirrors your desired reality. Your emotional conviction, what you know, reflects your desired reality. This is the only thing that's what's going to determine it. So people say to me, hey, do I need to stop, eating meat, to manifest my desired reality? I'm like, no. Why do you think bad things happen to good people? Bad things happen to good people because good people have bad frequencies. They have frequencies that reflect, resonate, and will create a particular degree of a frequency that is vibrationally aligned to a bad reality, and then they experience it. But unfortunately, the air quote bad people, which good and bad doesn't even exist, it's actually a concept that we only speak on in this third dimensional realm due to the fact of polarity and the ego's desire to categorize every single thing and anything that it experiences. But as we transcend outside this third dimensional realm, everything is a particular degree of oneness, and those are nothing more than egotistical characteristics that we just say just to make society function much better. But bad people have beliefs that reflect their desired reality, thoughts that reflect their desired reality. They're powerful, they're capable, so on and so forth. They are it, it's theirs, they deserve it, that level of entitlement. While good people are begging. It's what I used to see in church all the time. People begging for their desired realities. But ironically, begging in of itself is a form of desperation, and desperation is an indication that you don't have, and the universe only gives what you have, because you can't have anything unless you already have it, because the universe is annoying like that. And our definition of have it isn't physically touching it and materializing and experiencing it. And that's why your definition is completely messed up. You think manifestation is being able to touch your desired reality and seeing it in front of you. No. Having it, by universal definitions, become the vibrational alignment. And that can only happen once you begin to tick each and every one of these off. But you can't do that if you think being high frequency is about feeling good all the time, because you don't feel good all the time. When you feel bad, you're gonna think something's wrong. And when you think something's bad, that badness is going to touch your frequency, and then that's going to alter your reality and corrupt your reality, so you can experience a particular degree of badness. So I want you to normalize not feeling good all the time. And here's the thing. Do you wanna know the true definition of being high frequency? I'll end it with this. I'll show you right now. Jehovah, you are the reason that I breathe. You are the reason that I still breathe. Jehovah, you are my... Nicole Scherzinger went on a run,
Did she?
Yep.
I don't feel like I know any of it.
You don't know about the P-Cat dolls? What's that song? I'ma stick with you
I know that.
forever. Yeah. And
When did that song come out?
Time ago.
Early 2000s? Late 2000s?
I think early still. Come in, baby, be my baby, be my baby. Oh, oh, oh. Come in, baby, put your hands on my body.
Hands on my body.
Oh, oh, oh. Cool.
It's a tune still.
Serious tune still. Cool. You wanna know what it means to be high frequency?
What does it mean?
Being high frequency is how you handle the frequent lows. Let's borrow that down. And the lows will be frequent, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the nature of reality. I'm sorry, I know you're a spiritual master and everybody's a bot, but that doesn't make you void of the rhythm, the natural course of how the universe works. We are all nothing more than trapped within the immutable laws of the universe, and one of them is that lows are mandatory. But what makes you high frequency is actually how you handle the frequent lows, because how everybody else is going to react, they're going to get caught up in it. Emotionally swayed by it, which, understand, emotion is energy in motion. That energy in motion eventually becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a frequency when it's got momentum, and every frequency, ladies and gentlemen, must turn into a what? A reality. So if I can control your emotion, I can control your energy motion. If I can control your energy motion, I can control your vibration. If I can control your vibration, I can control your frequency. And if I can control your frequency, I can control your reality. So to be emotionally swayed by reality, you've already fucked it, mate. I'm gonna be honest. You've already fucked it. Which is why a certain degree of internal and mental emotional discipline is absolutely mandatory. Hence why figures like Buddha, you know, I've been reading a lot about Buddha these days. I've bought a bunch of Buddhist texts. You know, it said that he conquered every demon of the underworld. And that is nothing more than the, you know, metaphorical explanation for being able to conquer the negative frequencies that you are due to experience anyways, just by virtue of being in this third dimensional realm. What's this guy laughing at?
That jam was too funny, bro. Conquer. Yeah.
This guy's distracted me. But you get the point. People get caught up in it, emotionally swayed. When you do that, you've instantly lost. So how you handle the frequent lows is going to be a particular degree of non-reaction. It's going to be that high level of awareness that opens you up to the true nature of reality. And I've got plenty of videos for that. Past these 2 testimonial manifest, outsmart the old version of you, and 8 years of manifestation in 51 minutes. But yeah, this is the true definition of being high frequency. So it's all right. You don't have to take videos every time you're walking on the grass, or show us your acai bowls, or whatever else you niggas like.
Vegan sandals.
I'm enjoying my steak and my lamb.